What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. Now in today's video we're going to be carrying on working on my Mk3 Ford Fiesta, which I've owned since 2023, but I've only covered something stupid like 50 miles in it, and that is because it has never ran right. But in the last Mk3 Fiesta video I actually carried out some in-depth diagnostic work and found a burnt inlet valve. So I stripped off the cylinder heads in the last video and I've taken it down to my local engineering shop. They've tested it out and said it is all good to go, but it needed a little bit of work doing to it. So they've fully cleaned it up, they've skimmed the heads, they've also re-ground the valve seats. I've bought 8 brand new valves and yeah, it's just had a full overhaul. It's also had some new oil stem seals. So yeah, I've got the cylinder head back now. I've just given it 2 coats of paint and I think you will all agree that it looks amazing. The plan for this video is to refit the cylinder head and then, fingers crossed, it actually runs right, because as I say, this hasn't ran right for the couple of years that I've owned it and I've just not really given enough time to this Mk3 Fiesta really. So then after that, once we've got it running, I'm going to give it the Mk2 Mitch touch. I'm going to fully detail and machine polish the bodywork. I'm going to restore the steels. And I'm just going to make it look like a real presentable and honest car, because that is what it is. It's only the running issues which has really let it down. And I've made my mind up. We are actually going to sell the Mk3 Fiesta in this video, hopefully, if it all goes to plan. At the end of this video, we're going to enter it into Anglia Car Auctions classic sale, and yeah, I'm going to sell it there as a no reserve. So that's going to be pretty interesting. But I've got to fix this cylinder head first.
Whilst the cylinder head was getting the work done to it, I did also order some parts. These are all needed in order to get this engine working properly again. So what I've got here is I've got a full gasket kit. I've also ordered some new head bolts, because you don't reuse head bolts. I never have, I never will. You always get new ones of them. And I've also purchased a thermostat. So this comes with its own gasket as well. Brand new thermostat. Seeing as we've got the cylinder head off, I'm not going to not replace this. I'm not going to use the old one. I'm going to replace it. It's only a couple of quid. So yeah, we've got that as well. Under the bonnet, this is how the engine is looking, nice and bare. We've got all of the push rods hanging out. They're not being replaced because they're all straight as anything. I'm really happy with them. I'm going to give the top of the block just a little once over, a little wire brush, and that'll be good to go. Just before I forget, I've got a couple of things in the motor that are picked up today, so let's go and see what else I've got for this engine. Right, we've got a couple more bits in here. Got some chairs which we're not interested in, but we're interested in this, the oil filter. We've also got some new oil as well. I do have 4 spark plugs. They're hiding in there somewhere. They've just been sliding around in the back of the motor. There you go, 4 new Ngk spark plugs, and also this, which is the inlet manifolds. I'm pretty sure this was painted from factory, but I wanted to sort of leave it like alley because it looks quite nice, but on the underside there is still quite a lot of paint left, but you're not going to see that. You're only going to see the top part, and that's sort of how it sits on the engine. But I cleaned this up at work and it's came up really nicely. Anyway, that's just a quick rundown of what I'm going to be doing to the Mk3 Fiesta. It's a beautiful sunny Friday afternoon. I've just finished work and I'm hoping to get this completely running today. I'm not long into the rebuilds. I've only just put the head gasket on, but I tidied up all of the face of the block, and I've also just put the head gasket on. That's exactly how it should be sitting. Now, really helpful from BGA, you get the engine codes, loads of different specs, what the head bolts should be, the materials they're made out of, and loads of stuff like that. But more importantly, you've got the tightening procedure here, which is just there, as you guys can see. Not going to read it all out, but I'll be doing that. And then it also says the tightening order. So yeah, really helpful to have that little bit of paper in the head gasket. Normally I'd search it up online, but to have it here is just much more simpler and easy. Also, whilst I was just cleaning up the block, I realised that I've not actually shown you guys the cylinder heads, what it actually looks like underneath. So there's all the new valves in there. Really, really nice and ready to fit onto the block now. Time for a little bit of an update, I think, before I go ahead and end up rebuilding this cylinder head without even talking to you guys. So, what have I done? I've fitted the new bolts. I actually had the wrong one, so I had to pop out to GSF and pick up the right bolts. They were the same brands, they were BGA, just like the gasket kit that I used, and yeah, I've torqued them all down. I've also put on the exhaust manifolds. There's also individual gaskets behind all of the ports. I've put in all of the spark plugs. I've also put in a new thermostat and gasket. I've tightened the 2 bolts up, and then you've got a couple of pipes and a sensor that go onto the thermostat housing. So yeah, we're getting there now. I'm just about to refit the inlet manifold. I've just been cleaning up the face where it meets the head, because that needs to be nice and clean and not have any old gasket on it. But the rebuild is going really well. I've still got the carb yet to fit once I've put the inlet manifold on. I've got the heat shield that goes over the exhaust manifold. I've also got to put the rockers in, got to put the rocker cover actually on. I've got a new cork gasket for that as well. And then I've just got to add the airbox, which is here. The inlet manifold is now on. I've started to attach some of the pipes. There's actually a coolant pipe that goes in just down here, a vacuum line in the back. And I've also just attached all of the rockers, and I have adjusted them up. There was a bit of leeway in them. I did need to tighten up some and loosen others. I guess that's just where the valves aren't sort of 100% exactly the same length as the other ones. I mean, they will be like the same length, but just when it comes to, like, we're talking millimeters and foul, they were slightly out, so they just needed adjusting up. But it's all going well. I'm literally just about to fill it up with oil. I've changed the oil filter, just located down the bottom, or the back, or the engine, should I say. So yeah, I'm going to fill up the oil. I'm just going to basically put it over all of these springs and the rockers. Well, there we have it. That is one head rebuilt and put back on its HCS 1 litre engine. I'm very happy. It's looking amazing. I've also fixed the throttle, because basically the clip broke when I've been messing around with it, and I've managed to tie it up with a cable tie. But that's working perfectly. I've just tested that on and off, and it's working lovely. I've topped up the coolant. It's had an oil and filter change. Airbox is on. Don't ask me why, but I'm just really nervous, because I have spent so many hours on this car. Well, not really so many, but it's just been one of them faults that I've been chasing for ages. So, yeah, we'll just twist the key and see what happens. It should be much better now that the head's rebuilt, surely. That just sounds like the alternator belt, the auxiliary belt. The auxiliary belt is a little bit squeaky. Oh my word. That sounds amazing! Oh my words! That is purring away. That is purring away. Right, I've got to keep the camera on, because I just listen to it. Oh my words. Listen to it. But listen to the exhaust note. Oh no, I'm so happy. I mean, I should have never had any doubt in my mind. It sounds amazing as well. Wow, I am so happy this Mk3 Fiesta is finally running right. I'm going to
get it out of the garden in a minute and take it for a spin. I've got the MOT booked, and yeah, I'm just so relieved. I should have a lot more confidence in my work, but yeah, it's been a long story with this Mk3 Fiesta, and the running issues have just been constant. So yeah, glad that it's finally fixed. What I'm going to do is, after it's MOT'd, I'm going to park it up on a drive, and then we can give it a good detail and basically present this Mk3 Fiesta as it deserves, because at the moment it looks really horrible. The paintwork's slightly faded. I just need to tidy it up before we drive it up to Anglia Car Auctions and get it in their sale.
Taking it back to the old school days, I'm actually recording this little clip on my phone. So I have just been cracking on with the Mk3 Fiesta in recent weeks. I have been going around it panel by panel and machine polishing up the paintwork. It came up amazingly. I always forget how well the red comes up. Now I'm on the last section, which is this bonnet, and I've actually machine polished about a third of this. You can see the clear line. It's about there on the bonnet. And you can see that this is just like glass, this section, but compared to the other side, it's all faded. But when you get close, you can't really tell too much. But in person, there is a huge difference. And if I stand back a little bit and come into the sunlight, you can clearly see the polished section versus the non-polished section. I've got all the tyres off of the Mk3 Fiesta steel wheels now, and I've just purchased a cheap and nasty orbital sander, and I've got some new sanding discs as well. So hopefully this is going to speed up the restoration process, because I restored a set of steels for my Mk3 Escort van earlier this year, but that took quite some time by hand. So yeah, hopefully the sander will speed up the job a little bit more.
Here are the Mk3 Fiesta steels, now with all of the tyres fitted on them. So I do actually have 2 brand new tyres, because a couple of the original tyres were really badly cracked and wouldn't have made it through the MOT. But the other 2 I did actually manage to keep because they weren't too bad at all. Loads of tread on them. So yeah, we've got 2 brand new tyres and 2 tyres that have got plenty of meat left on them. I'm really actually quite happy with the finish I got on these steels. I didn't spend ages on them because I'm just trying to get this Mk3 Fiesta shifted now and sort of off of my hands. But I spent a good couple of hours prepping and then spraying these steels with some 2K silver, and they've come out brilliantly. I've got a little bit of a mark there, but that's just where I was putting the tyres on. Bit of soap. It's a bit sticky, so I can get that off, but they do actually look really nice. The Fiesta is still gleaming as I've recently finished machine polishing this, so it'd be great to get all of these 4 wheels back on the motor and get it back on its own weight and driving again, because I do still need to get it MOT'd. I definitely will be sad to see the Mk3 Fiesta go, because I have always wanted one of these, but I have been sort of lying to myself lately and shying away from the biggest project and my dream car, which is my Mk2 Escort, which is sat just behind my Mk3 Fiesta in the garage. So in order for me to get my dream car on the road and to alleviate a little bit of time, this Mk3 Fiesta is going to have to go. I'm not quite sure when I last done a little bit of filming on the Mk3 Fiesta, but things have progressed and it has now got a MOT on it, so 12-month MOT ticket. I took it down to my local MOT station the other day and it passed with flying colours. It has been on 54,000 miles, this car, since 2020, so it's literally not been driven at all. And during my sort of two to 3 year ownership, I haven't put hardly 100 miles on this thing. And what I'm doing now, I'm just going around the Mk3 Fiesta and putting all the finishing touches on it. I'm just dressing up all of the trim. This rear bumper has been done and it's came up so well. I've also done the fuel cap here. And also, well, I'm just doing all of the trim around it. So the door handle, the locks, and the mirrors, and also the front bumper. The stuff that I'm using to restore the trim is this C4 by G-Technic, and this stuff is honestly so good. I swear by this when protecting and restoring trim. I've used it on pretty much all the motors I've ever owned, and it lasts quite a long time as well. So yeah, it's a great product, and if you've got faded
grey bumpers and you want to get them back to that nice dark grey original looking colour, then this is the stuff you need to buy. And also, this isn't sponsored at all. For example, I'll just highlight this mirror on the near side of the Fiesta. Now it looks alright. This one's actually not too bad, to be fair. Yeah, it is quite light grey and it needs a bit of that G-Technic magic. So hopefully the camera shows the clear difference in the sides. This one's got more of a deeper grey and it just looks like it's came out of the factory. Now to get this finish, I do actually go over the plastic with a magic eraser first. This gets rid of any polish, residue or wax that's been left on it. Over the years it can be quite stubborn to get off, and then I go ahead and apply the C4 by G-Technic, and yeah, the proof is in the pudding. That is the finished result. I also just want to show you guys the front bumper before I do it. That's a little bit of the excess from the magic eraser. I was just getting a bit of polish off. Now when I machine polish cars, I always try and tape up the plastic sections, but there's always a little bit of polish that gets on there, or a little bit of wax. And as you can see, this is really light grey and needs restoring. Hopefully there is a noticeable difference, because that's nice and dark now. And it just looks brilliant. It always finishes a car off after you've machine polished it to dress up all of the plastic. Look at that, a good real close-up shot. The problem is though, once you start, you end up finding other bits that you think you could treat. And I think if I do these, they are going to come up really, really well. Well, we've just taken the roughly 80-mile trip up to Anglia Car Auctions to drop the Mk3 Fiesta off. It's looking really good. Had a little bit of a mishap on the way up. Ran out of fuel, but we managed to get some, and we're here. So yeah, start of August now, and the next time we see this is at the end of August. And for you guys, that'll only be a couple of seconds. It's now auction day and my Mk3 Fiesta is tucked in the corner of this first haul at Anglia Car Auctions. So I believe it's one of the first cars. It's lot 331. We've got the full description right up here. Can be viewed online as well. And of course, we entered it as a no reserve. I'm quite happy with it though. It's nice and clean. It's been stored inside here at Anglia Car Auctions, because I did put on the description that the sunroof doesn't seal. I'm not going to lie about the car or anything stupid like that. You see the interior. The seats actually look a little bit worse for wear. I didn't realise how tatty they looked, but if I'm completely honest, I'm just glad I'm getting rid of this car. After I've spent a little bit of time and money on it, we'll hopefully be in profit, but if not, we've had a lot of fun with it and I'm happy for it to go on to its next owner. But I think it polished up really nicely. It's gleaming here at Anglia Car Auctions. It's really early still, but hopefully later on this will be shining when it goes under the hammer. But you can see there's plenty of other cars and classic Fords that are going under the hammer today as well. I do have a completely separate video on my channel which walks around this auction and shows you quite a lot of the lots. But yeah, that is a little Fiesta. Quite exciting actually to see it going under the hammer. It's ready to go to its new owner, offered as a no reserve, so we'll see what that goes for. It will be a bit nerve-wracking for me, but we'll wait and see. No reserve.
Well, that's the Mk3 Fiesta started up. I really should have changed the auxiliary belt on that because it was squeaking like anything, but yeah, it's ready to go now. Quite nerve-wracking selling the car, to be honest, but especially with a no reserve as well, but we'll wait and see what it makes. Here we go, the little Fiesta. Oh my word, I'm really happy with that already. It hasn't even started and it's already at 1.6, so we'll take that. It was starting at £600 and it's now on £1,600. I'll take that, happy days. £1,800 now, looks like I'm in. Doesn't look like it's going to move much. The Fiesta is at £1,800. There we go, just gone up another £100. Someone had a cheeky little £50 bid, and then someone else comes straight back up to 1900. £2,000, there we go, lovely. 2100, I'm even happier with that. 22, come on. 2.3, blimey, I'm really happy with that. Oh wow, I'm happy with that.
Well, that is it. Another one of my fleet has sold. Mainly so I can crack on with my Mark II Escort, which has been severely neglected. I need to give a lot more time to that. But before we end this video, let's run down some of the prices. So, the Fiesta sold for £2,400 at auction, which I was so happy with. I mean, that's an absolute result. It's probably worth that though, let's be honest, because these Mark III Fiestas are up and coming. They're only going up in value. It was mint. There was no rust on it at all on the bodywork. So, yeah, 2.4, I don't think that's a terrible price. But that's not what the buyer paid for it. With the fees, all in, it went for £2,592, which still isn't terrible. I really do think these Mark III Fiestas are going to shoot up in value soon. But more importantly, I'm sure you're all eager to know how much money I got out of the Mark III Fiesta. So the hammer price was £2,400. And then what you got to do is you've got to take the £144 off for the commission to the auction house. So that was 6%, as you also pay VAT on that 6% commission, and my VAT was £28.80. So that is the commission plus the VAT, but also you need to pay an entry fee. So for a no reserve car, it is £75 plus VAT, and for a car that you put a reserve on, it's £125 plus VAT. Now mine was a no reserve, so it was slightly cheaper, so I only paid £75. With the VAT included, that comes to £90. So, with all of those bits and bobs taken off of the hammer price, I come away from the sale with £2,137.20, which isn't bad considering that I paid £1,853 back in 2023. I mean, yeah, when you look at it there, it's not a lot of profit, is it, at all? It's like 200 quid, 300 quid, not even that. So, yeah, but that wasn't really my main aim when I bought the Mark III Fiesta. I thought I was going to keep it for ages. I thought I was going to love it, cherish it, and just store it, basically, because it was such a great example. But I can't keep them all, and I didn't really fall in love with it. The last thing I just want to mention is about the couple of issues with the Mark III Fiesta. So it wasn't sold at auction without any issues, because I told the auction house, and it was clear for everyone to see on the description, that it had a leaky sunroof. So I tried to fix this so many times, and I think I'm actually scarred for life because I could never get that sunroof to seal. It was an aftermarket one, so finding parts for it was just impossible. All the clips were breaking. I had to get some 3D printed. I bought a couple of seals, and it just wouldn't seal. I wasted quite a lot of time, quite a lot of money on that sunroof, and I ended up actually selling it at auction without it being watertight. And yeah, it clearly stated that in the description. And the last tiny little issue with it is that the Mark III Fiesta started stuttering just a tiny little bit, but it drove fine, and you would have seen throughout this video I've refurbed the cylinder heads to a really high standard, and it was actually driven 80 miles up to Anglia Car Auctions by myself, and it was fine. It ran out of fuel, but apart from that, it was all good. But I'm aware that when it ran through the auction house, it wasn't running the best. It was stuttering a little bit, and I put this down to a little bit of, it needs a carb tune-up. It needs some old boy to look at it, give the carb a little tune, and I'm sure it will run perfectly. But I did actually also put this in the description that it was running a little bit stuttery still, and it could benefit from a tune-up. But also, because it hadn't covered that much mileage in the past couple of years, I put this slight poor running down to the lack of use, because I certainly made the running issues, or the running of the car, much better. You would have seen from this video what it was. It was undrivable, and now it's a lot better. So yeah, it still needs a little bit of fettling. Hopefully the new owner can get it 100%. But I'm happy that I got it 95% of the way there, and all the work that I carried out in this video I'm more than happy with. But I'm aware this outro has been pretty long, so yeah, that's the end of the Mk3 Fiesta saga. It featured on the channel just a couple of times, and whenever it did, it was always broken. So yeah, it's gone now, gone to its new home, and I can now crack on with other projects that I've got, and well, the main one being my Mk2 Escort. Anyway, if you did enjoy this video, please do give it a like, and if you like what you see, subscribe to the channel to see more. Thank you all for watching, and until the next one, I'll see you guys later.